Tantor Audio, a division of Recorded Books, presents The True Story of the Great Escape, Stalag Luft III, March 1944, by Jonathan F. Vance. Foreword by Simon Pearson. Narrated by Paul Woodson. Foreword. Like most people, I was first exposed to the March 1944 escape from Stalag Luft III through the film. It was Victoria Day in my hometown of Waterdown, Ontario, and I was probably 8 or 9 years old. Victoria Day in Canada means fireworks, and my family was planning to walk to the local park to watch the display. But I was glued to the television. My mother had switched on The Great Escape, and I was transfixed, so much so that I refused to leave the house until the film was over. Maybe it was the stirring score by Elmer Bernstein, or Daniel Fapp's gorgeous cinematography. The fine ensemble cast certainly held my attention, and years later, ex-POWs I talked to would roll their eyes when I told them that Steve McQueen's motorcycle ride had made a huge impression on me. Even though I missed the fireworks that night, I gained a passion that remains with me to this day. In some ways, I may have always known that I would write this book, for I began researching it when I was still a teenager. By researching, I mean writing to ex-POWs and asking them questions that occurred to me, or even just requesting an autograph. They were remarkably kind, often inviting me to visit them when we were on family vacations, or allowing me to attend their reunions. One of my first contacts was the legendary escaper HMA Wings Day, who invited my family to his retirement home in Rustington and introduced us to his friends there, former airmen all. I recall one particularly well, an American from the Deep South, Alabama, I think, who had joined the Royal Flying Corps during the First World War and liked England so much that he never left. Wings had a charming little cat, who spent much of the afternoon sitting on his shoulders. I was fortunate to begin working on The Great Escape when so many of the main characters were still alive. They gave me some remarkable information on the escape and its participants, but also were wonderful hosts, kind and generous to a fault. Per Bergsland fed me and my wife grilled salmon that had come into the docks in Oslo just hours earlier. The raffish and utterly charming Sidney Dowes treated us to a fabulously expensive dinner in Menton, in the south of France. He had a villa there, and I asked him if he had learned to speak French. "If you have money, you don't need to learn the language," was his reply. Bob Stanford Tuck drove me around the south coast of England, reminiscing as he drove, at some considerable speed. I wondered at the time if he should be paying a little more attention to the road. Ivo Tonder was never without a smile, as he related the experience of spending so much time as a young adult escaping from one enemy or another. I was even able to become something of a regular at the RAF Club on Piccadilly, once for a memorable reunion dinner of escapers, including characters like Bill Tex Ash and Oliver Philpott of Wooden Horse fame. When I started to contact the relatives of the 50 escapers who were executed, they were just as friendly, and thrilled that someone was interested in their long-gone but still beloved relative. At the beginning, I had hopes of tracking families of a dozen of the 50. In the end, I was able to get in touch with descendants of almost all of them. Mimi Martin-Picard hosted us for days in her tidy house in Belgium. She was an adventurous cook and tried out many new dishes on us. Les cobayes, she called us, guinea pigs. David and Mary Hayter threw open their beautiful home, Kingham's, to us on more than one occasion, and introduced us to the extended Hayter family. Sylvia Swain taught me that steak and kidney pie could actually be tasty. Sir Kenneth Cross literally opened his brother Ian's life to me, because everything the family had saved was kept in a battered suitcase. These unforgettable experiences allowed me to do more than just research. They allowed me to come as close as possible to the men of Stalag Luft III. I really felt that I got to know some of them. One can't spend hours listening to family stories, poring over photo albums, and reading letters and diaries without developing a connection to the subject.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?